Moving on to the Bobulinski file. I love this guy's last name, Bobulinski. It's a great name. With a name like Bongino, everybody call me Bongino, Bon Jovi, Boningo, everything. I love Bobulinski. This guy's the greatest. So, some other questions, big questions that the media won't ask, but don't worry, we will. We'll ask for you because we are taking over the media space because people come here for facts. Joe Biden manages to clear his name one day and prove that all this stuff is fake, we'll be the first to broadcast it. He's done none of that. He hasn't denied any of this. So how much money was involved here with the Biden crime family? How much? Kind of a big question, no? We talking $10, $20, $100, $1,000, $1 million? More than $1 million? It's a lot of money, right? For a public servant like Joe Biden. Servant, air quotes. How much money was involved? So Tony Bobulinski was asked that question by Tucker Carlson last night. What kind of a deal with the Chinese were they talking about? And what's really interesting here is Bobulinski mentions that we're talking about millions. This isn't one of those Austin Powers, $1 million, millions of dollars to the Biden family. The Biden family. I keep saying the Biden family, and I've said it three times now, the Biden family. Because Tony's very specific about what the Chinese think they're buying. Check this out.
I'm insignificant and irrelevant in this discussion. To them, it was always the Biden family. It wasn't Hunter Biden. It wasn't Jim Biden. It was the Biden family, who's obviously led and operated by Joe Biden. And in a document that you guys have, and I think it's been provided to the world, the Chinese referenced that because of their trust in the Biden family, that Chairman Yi and Director Zhang are excited about moving forward in this. And in that document, they reference loaning $5 million to the BD family.
Right.
The BD family is the Biden family. And notice they didn't say we're loaning that money to Oneida Holdings, or we're loaning that money to Tony Bobulinski, or we're loaning that money to James Gilliar or Rob Walker. They, once again, not a document generated by me, a document generated by CFC, that they're loaning that money to the Biden family.
Paul and I last night, little behind the scenes where we were sitting on a couch watching this. I had a bit of a rough day yesterday and some doctor's stuff and all. I'm tired of getting poked and prodded. Vein, I can't give any more blood. No more blood. Feel like Nosferatu is living in my house. Like being drained. I'm turning white as a ghost. I only have a pint left. There's no more to give. So it was a rough day. And we're sitting there on the couch watching Tucker. And she's looking at me, who, again, my wife knows politics. She's involved in the show every day. But she's not like me. I'm obsessed with it. It's my job. And she looks at me. She's like, I got to, wait, hold on. Can I show you this? Let me show you. This is a text from my mother-in-law. No, not a joke. Not a joke. Miriam Marshall, my mother-in-law. Her English is really good, but her Spanish is her first language. But this is her actual text. Reading this on the air. Not kidding. Danny. She goes, I'm watching. Is unbelievable. Worse than Colombia. Terrible. So bad for the country. My wife and my mother-in-law grew up in Colombia. Not South Carolina, Colombia. C-O-L-O, Colombia. Pablo Escobar's Colombia? My mother-in-law literally texted me, Donnie, worse than Colombia. Nobody cares. We're about to potentially elect a guy, Joe Biden, who a business partner who has absolutely unimpeachable credibility just said the Chinese Communist Party wanted to pay off with $5 million. And nobody cares. Nobody cares. Not only do they care, they're impugning the integrity of the business partner. That's not disinformation. This guy should sue everyone. Everyone. That's probably my mother. Do you hear that text me? That's probably my mother-in-law text me. It's not a live stream, but she's probably reading my mind right now. Now, you may be saying to yourself a follow-up question, which I know I'm saying. I know Joe's saying. I know Paula asked last night, right before this came up. How in the hell did the Biden family think they were going to get away with this? Taking or suggesting millions of dollars in payoffs from China, and we know taking money from other overseas entities, including enemies of the United States. The former mayor of Moscow's wife, who's a Putin ally, who, according to the Senate report, paid $3.5 million to a member of the Biden family. How'd they think they were going to get away with this? Well, Tony Bobulinski asked a member of the Biden family this exact question. And you know what it made me think of right away? For you movie buffs out there, you know I always get cultural references wrong. It's not intentional. I just don't watch a lot of movies anymore. Well, I did watch a good one recently, Silence. Very good. Highly recommended if you're a man of faith. Poses some very interesting questions. Very interesting questions. I hear the book was a little better. But that's a whole other story. It made me think of that movie. Was it Clear and Present Danger? One of the Harrison Ford movies where he plays Jack Ryan. Remember the one with the narco trafficking? I think that was Clear and Present Danger. Or was it? Yeah. Patriot Games was the other one. And he asked the president, Harrison Ford, the CIA guy playing Jack Ryan, confronts the president in the movie. And he's talking to the chief of staff at one point about how they could do this whole thing about taking out this drug cartel without letting the American people know. And he said, plausible deniability, Jack. Plausible deniability. You know, the guy with the glasses who looks super annoying. Apparently, Jim Biden must have watched Clear and Present Danger, Jim, Joe's brother, because Bobulinski asked the Biden family, you guys, how did you think you were going to get away with $1 million payoffs from Chinese communists? And he said, just like the guy with the glasses in Clear and Present Danger, plausible deniability. Check this out.
I'm thinking about the Biden family. Like, how are they doing this? I know Joe decided not to run in 2016, but what if he ran in the future? Aren't they taking political risk or headline risk? And I remember looking at Jim Biden and saying, how are you guys getting away with this? Like, aren't you concerned? And he looked at me and he laughed a little bit and said, plausible deniability.
This is not a movie. There's no Jack Ryan here, folks. Maybe a Ryan Jack, former porn star or something. But there ain't no Jack Ryan, I can tell you that. I don't know any Ryan Jacks, by the way, so don't send me a bunch of pictures. I'm just saying, if you were going to be a porn star, Ryan Jack would probably be your name. Plausible deniability? This guy's watching too many movies. You took millions of dollars in payoffs from overseas. They're talking about a $5 million payoff to the Biden family from Chinese communists. It's just elect them president. We can plausibly deny it. Why? Why can they do that, Joe? Because nobody's going to follow up in the media. Joe Biden's going to be like, we haven't done this in a while, Joe. One of my favorite shows growing up, Don't Laugh. I was a very wild kid. That'll come out later on the autobiography. A very wild kid. My favorite show was Beavis and Butthead. I loved that show. And remember when Mr. Anderson used to catch them in the middle of doing something, burning his house down, whatever, he'd be like, that was other kids. This is the other kids excuse. Hey, you guys took $5 million and $3.5 million from Russia, and there was a payment from China. This is the media's question. And Biden goes, that was other kids. And the media goes, it was other kids. Makes perfect sense. Thank you. You answered that. Moving on. That's old news. Old news. The Republicans pounce. Republicans pounce. That'll be the story. Old news. That was other kids. He should even do the laugh. The Beavis laugh. He should do it. Was other kids. And the media is Mr. Anderson. Oh, Biden said it was other kids. Let's move on. Headline, New York Times. Biden says other kids. Next day, old news. Republicans pounce.
You just heard Dan Bongino.